All right, hello. Hopefully you can all see the screen here. This is just to show, to start with the login screen. Your credentials are, right now you don't have a password, or actually you have a completely random password, but your login is going to be your first name dot last name, all lowercase as seen here. And then to create a password, you just click on the forget your password, and then click on an email address to send yourself a password reset link. And then from there, it's really simple. You just hit the link in your email and enter the password you want. And then once you have that, you will log in at the same spot. And this is this first screen you'll see. It's the first item on the sidebar called Company Profile. Company, which by default you're going to have full edit rights on. And then, so for example, to update the status, and it checks to make sure that every field that's required and all that is filled in. And then from there you have the tabs. So this is how you would manage your contacts. This I call the table view. You have your paginator up here, refresh button, and then you can edit inside the table, and the save buttons will highlight, or you can hit this to save all the rows, all your changes. This will add, and you just fill it out and hit create to create a new one. And then you can hit the details to show what I call the combined view, where you have your main record and then all associated records on the table view right here. And by default, when you create a new person, it's going to, let's actually do that. They're not going to have any attributes. So attributes are how you set permissions. So you hit, this is what I call the placeholder rows. Activate the eye icon to show them all. And they're just basically records that you probably want to create. And you can just, for instance, give this full access, hit save all. And now you've provided access to test or test, but you'll obviously want to give them an email address in order for them to reset their password. That's kind of the basic usage of the app. You can also hit this edit button to get the form pop-up view, and the delete button to delete if you have rights, and we'll ask for confirmation. You can attach files here. You can manage your employees here. I only have this one that I added. To add an employee, just hit, again, the add button. And there you go. Now you have a new employee. And obviously you set everything as you like. See the detail, you just hit detail. And these detail buttons can go as far down as you want. They just follow the relationships between the tables. So you see he has no address history because I just made him. You don't really need to fill the classifications out. You can put notes in here. This will show any project they've been assigned to, and then you can attach files. So that's the company profile view. You can also create employees here, but in this case, you will have to like specify that it's for you. If you do it on the detail view, every time you go down a level of detail, it automatically, fills out the higher level fields. So use cases. To assign a subcontractor, you would, let me show you the search form. So this is a search form. This hides and shows it. You can add as many criteria you want here. depending on whether it's a number field or a text or date field, you have different options here. And you just
Hey,
fill it
Kevin.
in. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me pause you for a second. We have a question in the chat from Mark Bloom. Will a user guide be made available and distributed?
The plan is we're also going to use this presentation as to give, yes, it will be, and we're going to use this as like a start of the format of it and how it's organized.
But yeah, we'll have a video presentation such as what you're viewing right now. And then we will also put together some documentation and it will be distributed to you all. Most likely it will be made available on the city's website. So the second question was from Justin Andrea. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Will all employees slash positions slash wages, union benefit packages, etc. be imported slash migrated over from LCP?
Mostly we have an extract of that and it's already in here. It's from a few months ago. We're hoping to get a new one before the end of the year. I don't know. I don't think it includes union benefit packages though, but it includes all the historical data for payroll. It should have everything you need to continue submitting payroll records and making reports on the old ones.
So basically everything from LCP tracker should be transferred in. All data should be transferred into the new application.
Yep.
Okay. Those are all the questions we have right now.
Okay. So back to record search. Add in as many criteria you want. They are ended together, and then here are your results. These little info buttons give you detail about whatever is to the left of them. So this gives me detail about the agency. That's obviously us. And if you get the eye icon, if you can't edit it, in which case it just pops up a view screen. And of course, you hit the details. And we'll go to contractor assignments. If I want to assign a new subcontractor, I just hit the plus button, fill in. It's autocomplete. And I just made it so it'll tell you when current contractor, of course, is going to be me, which I believe is Tesco. And there you go. Now it's added. You can see details, which will just be all of the payrolls that they've entered. And then to assign a new employee to a project, likewise, you go on the employee tab, hit the add button. I'm Tesco. Testy, test face is added. And that's it. To upload a payroll, you have to be on the contract assignment tab so it knows which contractor assignment you're uploading a payroll for. Go to the details, just hit the plus button. You need the week ending and a payroll number. Performing just means there's actual work performed. And if you do have an import file in this format that was given to us, you can just upload it, drag and drop here. When you hit create, it will try to process that file that you attached. And there it is. I click details. And it shows you the main detail, all the employees and their totals. And you can see detail on one of those, which will give you the breakdown of all the fringes, deductions, and the daily hours worked, including the classifications. So this is the main record you'll edit here. And then most of these are just other views of the data. This shows you all the validation issues. And the agency, which is us, and depending on the department, will be able to set these levels, whether they even need to be validated or not. So you can see, like, for instance, this employee is not on the contract, and it doesn't have any classifications listed. So to fix that last one, you can just go ahead.
A couple more questions from Dawn Filtz. Will all of the city county projects now in LCP tracker be transferred also?
Yes, they have already been transferred unless there's been a new one in the past month or two, in which case that will be transferred.
Okay, and then Jamie at upiconstruction.com. Sorry, I'm like reading that as I go. What happens with any contracts that are still open?
They would be in the system now, and you'd be able to add new payroll records to them.
And another one from Wendy Solom. Is there any relationship between this system and Milwaukee.diversitycompliance.com?
I have not seen that, so I don't know. There's no formal relation. If there's similarity, I would not know because I haven't looked at it.
Question from Justin Andrea. If an employee is on multiple jobs/contracts, will we only need to enter the overall information, such as gross, federal, state, net, on the first record and only project-specific hours/gross on subsequent jobs an employee is on?
Unfortunately, no. I modeled it after the data I saw from LCP Tracker, which had that the deductions and fringes and all that on each individual records, even though they were totals for all projects.
Justin said LCP did that. Question from Judith Macias. How do we get access to this new system? Who do we contact if we need access?
Anyone who was on the main contractor record as the main contact has access using their first name and last name. They just have to do that forgot password link, and then they will be able to add access to anyone else that needs it. And failing that, then I guess we could provide access directly.
And then question from Heather Hick. Is there a way to upload certified payrolls as a CSV or Excel that autofills in their information/hours?
Yep, that's what I was just showing. I dragged and dropped a sample I got from Celeste right here that one of you guys gave me, and you use that when you're creating the payroll record right here. You fill out the week ending and payroll number, and then you can just drag that and drop that over.
Okay. Another question from Jesse Lynn, if you're finished explaining that one.
Yep.
Okay, we were going to enter a few payroll records by end of next week. Is it okay to continue using LCP for the hours by end of December? And all records will be transferred to the new system later?
First question, yes, that's ideal because we're not live in production yet. Second question, we hope so. We're working with LCP Tracker to get a snapshot at the end of the year.
Yeah, we do have an agreement with LCP that to get all of the data by the end of the year. Jamie at upiconstruction.com asks, is this on the City of Milwaukee's website?
Yes, but not available to the public until we go live, and when we do, you will have the link so you can go to it directly.
So this demo, everybody, is like a pre-launch demo. Siri wants to answer your question too. So this is like a pre-launch demo. This has not gone live yet. We're on the cusp of that happening right now. We just wanted to get some more information out to you guys as soon as we possibly could. So another question, Wendy Solemn, is piggyback on Heather. To piggyback on Heather, is there an export file we can use as a template?
I just have that one file I got from Celeste. I can scrub it of like personal data and then provide that to Alicia to send out.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
So
and I can ask Celeste where that was generated from, so that if you guys are using that same software, then you just export from that software.
cool. All right, and I think Mark Bloom is asking a similar question. Can that worksheet used for upload please be distributed to all of us?
Yep, I think we just answered that.
Another question from Wendy Solemn is, what is expected live date? And will we have access prior to that to play with it? So
Go ahead.
we're expecting to go live prior to the end of the year. We're still making some finishing touches, but as soon as we know, we'll let you guys know what that date is. I don't think that contractors have access to a sandbox environment though. But Kevin, you can speak to that.
I'm hoping to get a sandbox environment up in addition to the normal environment, which just would have to be, obviously, I'd have to copy the database and create a new app that's essentially a copy of it and point that new app to the other database.
Okay. All right, those are all the questions so far.
Okay, so I was actually near the end of this. So adding a job classification, just hit the plus. It'll auto complete the craft. Say bricklayer. And then you save. And there you go. And it's going to, based on the historical data of what's in here, because sometimes this might be lab one, depending on where you export it from. So it might not match up with the job classifications that are in the system. It will still look at that historical data and try to match up the classification for you so that you don't have to type it in every time. And then
Kevin, we
once
have another question.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Vera Cross Jones, she got here a little bit late, so she's wondering if we addressed what will be different in this system than an LCP tracker.
That's a big question. The user interface is certainly very different. The data is an extract from LCP tracker. I try to rearrange the table structure and stuff to make it a little cleaner and more following formal database rules. So hopefully a little better. Hopefully it's a little easier to use and faster.
But it should still perform all the functions that LCP tracker could perform, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Also, she would like to know, will there be IT help with new system to call and get? Basically, are they going to have a person to go to for help?
I guess that would be us, and Celeste might be their first, or whoever is managing the project, depending on their department, it might be their first point of contact, and they'd probably refer them to us.
Yeah, and that more specific information about what phone number to call or what who to email, we'll get that information to you once we get closer to the launch date and firm up the final details of this project. But great questions.
Okay, well, the final step here is then approving the payroll. Just like in LCP tracker, there's a prime approval step, but you don't have to log out and back in to do that. Where's my payrolls? payroll details, you just go down to where the approval status is, mark it as approved, and the save button is at the top. It will check the validation rules, and if they pass, it says saved, and you're done. I guess that's the main. Oh, there's some people who have who are listed for multiple contractors, like some contacts. Usually it's like this contractor east, this contractor west. So when they log in, they're not going to have a single contractor profile because they have multiple companies. So then you can go to all contractors and search for them. And if you're listed as a contact for them, you'll be able to edit. So that's anticipating the question. Go ahead.
Judith Messius would like to know, how does a payroll printout look like, or what does a payroll printout look like?
It is in the process of being made. It's being copied after the ones in LCB tracker, but it's probably going to look a little bit different, hopefully a little cleaner. I'm going to work with Celeste on how it looks, but it'll have all the same information and it'll look pretty similar.
All right, next question is from Joan Zipecki. Have there been changes to the RPP program rules? Is it still a race and gender neutral program based on addresses? Will the hours in the zip code still be tracked and counted? I think the first two questions would have to be routed to the Office of Equity and
inclusion.
I can inclusion, yeah. I can ask them and follow up with you on those questions. We at ITMD do not have those answers for you, unfortunately. Should also like to know, will the hours in the special zip codes still be tracked and counted? Do we know what the special zip codes are?
That would be more of a question again for the business experts on our side, but I believe they change occasionally. And since we're tracking the addresses of all the employees, including their change history, we will be able to know the zip code at any point in time. So in a sense, they are tracked and counted passively.
And then Mark Bloom wants to know, how long has this website been under development, and has it been thoroughly tested so that we do not experience significant bugs when we begin using it?
First question, maybe a few months. There's a period of like a month or two where it was on pause, and I have been testing it pretty thoroughly, and we've also had users on our side testing it, and as far as we know, there are no significant bugs. Or actually any bugs at all, like, because if we find a bug, we fix it.
Okay, Joan has another question. Workers within the special zip codes count for 1.5 hours for every hour worked. 53206 is an example of a special zip code.
Okay, yeah, I'll get that. It'll be done on the reporting end for whatever needs it needs be. I can work with Celeste on that. The reports aren't all done because we're on a kind of tight deadline. But since the data is there, we'll be able to, make any reports we need. Thanks, by the way.
And Joan, I'll follow up with you on your questions as well after this meeting, and I can get some more information for you. There are some people out on PTO with the holidays being in place, but we'll make sure we get your questions answered. Dawn Fitz would like to know, or Dawn Filtz, sorry. Will there be program enhancement updates as they are made?
I interpret that as is the software going to improve incrementally over time, and yes. I can update the front end pretty quickly. The back end, of course, is slower because if there's any disruptive changes to the database structure, that of course has to be tested and everything more thoroughly.
Judith Macias would like to know, are reports still under development?
Yes, the critical reports, they have their database queries written, and I've confirmed that all the needed data comes back. I'm just working on the visual design for them, for the critical ones. And then, yes, more beyond the critical ones, they're not started on. Oh, and on that note, I did forget to show the export feature. You may have seen this button right here. This will export the search results, and not only the page that you see, but all the pages of your search results. So don't use it unless you put some kind of criteria to filter it down. And then on the detail view, you can see these little black download buttons, and that downloads it to come a separate file. So you have export capabilities that you could maybe use to generate reports custom that you need. But as far as reports beyond the critical ones, I don't even have the samples yet. We've been working on getting all the data related correctly and the more front end features done well.
Okay, a couple more questions. From Vera L. Cross Jones. The new system affects City of Milwaukee and Housing Authority projects, correct?
That sounds like what departments are using this, and that is correct. I believe all the departments in the city of Milwaukee that use LCP Tracker will now be using this.
Next question is from Joan Zepecki. Will we be able to produce our own reports that include daily performance, like real-time tabulation of reporting?
There is not a feature to make custom reports in the software. If there's common reports that people use often, and especially if they're highly needed, we can certainly work on making those reports.
Judith Macias said example late CPR reports. Was that in?
No, it wasn't in the what I got. So I would need a sample of the report.
Jody Fellon asks, will the pre-programmed classifications have all of the apprentice levels, or will they have to be installed separately?
Oh, apprentice levels, do you mean like journeyman level? So there were, for the classifications, there are two parts. There's the craft and the journey level. Except in some different categories, it was the craft and then the classification level, which apparently classification level and journey level are the same thing. So those are all in there. So here, if you go to the project, you can see all the job classifications attached, and hopefully this answers your question. You got the two wage decision and then the classification, which has actually two parts, the craft and then the journey level. And they're all, everything that was in LCP Tracker is now in the new system.
Okay, next question is from Wendy Solom. Can the export file be used as a template later for a bulk upload?
I suppose as so long as it's not going to violate any data integrity constraints, because this is related data. So if you try to upload like a classification, working with a classification that's not in the system, it's not going to like it. But as long as there are no relationships that aren't violated, I suppose. There's no feature in the software for it.
Okay, next question is from Justin Andrea. If we apply union fringe benefits to a person, will it apply to all projects and contracts they are on?
No, I didn't have that in the extract. I didn't see data relationships like that. So I only had what I had to work with on the data extract, but I didn't see that.
Okay, next question is from Jody Fellon. There are 6 levels of apprentices for electricians. Well, I guess that wasn't really a question, just a statement. Do we not have 6 levels of apprentices for electricians?
I'll pull up the our end of the software first, where we can see everything in more detail and take a look. Yeah, so there's 2 sides. There's the contractor end and one on the agency end, which is the part that we use internally. Looks similar, but it has a lot more sidebar items. I don't have a classification sidebar item. Might want to add it. I can take a look.
Okay. Was that all you had to present then, Kevin?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions?